Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks so much for popping in. As always, I'm looking forward to having a crafty catch up with you. Now, one of the questions I've been asked is how I cut my card for my toppers. I do buy some of the ready-made cut card for certain sizes. I find that quicker. But I do like to use the A4, and this is just how I do it. Now, this is white on white, so it's probably not that easy to see. I do the first cut down my card here, so that in this panel I get two 5.5-inch square toppers, and I'm also getting a little bit here which is perfect for sentiments. And then in this strip you can get two panels this size, or you can actually cut it into two smaller 2 3/4 inches square. And again, you know, don't ever disregard these smaller pieces, because you can stamp a lot on this, mat and layer it, a lovely clean and simple design, and then a sentiment underneath. So out of that one A4, I can actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 card toppers. Just play with it. And I want to show you a card I've made. Every month we have a challenge at Lavinia. Now, you can enter up to 5 times. Just create a new piece of work and go with the theme. Use just your Lavinia stamps, your Lavinia products. But you know what? The winner is chosen at random and gets a £40 voucher to spend at Lavinia. And this month, the challenge is Blue Hues. So if you're somebody who loves blue, you know this is just made for you. And what I thought I'd do is incorporate that in today's little catch-up. So I've taken one of those panels and I've blended some lovely blue ink just to show you how it works on a 6x6 square card. Now, as always, I've decorated the back and we've got some permanent ink, some Posca on the envelope. So that's just to show you how those panels can work. And the other thing I'm often asked is sympathy cards. Now look, I've matted and layered the sentiment here just to show you that little piece of card can come in very useful. So that's what I thought we'd create today. So I've got one of my toppers out of my multifarious card, and I'm going to use a sticker stencil. And this comes from Sticker Stencils Set 5. We're going to use the arch. And I'm just going to pop this in the centre. Now, it might be if you didn't want it in the centre, you know, it would probably look, well, actually, do you know what? Let's do it that way. Let's just off-centre it. Do you know what? This is what I'm like. I'm terrible. It's so difficult, I find, doing 2 cards the same, because I've got to be honest, my mind just wanders. I mean, are you the same, or is it just me? Right, now I've got a gap here, and when I'm stamping, I don't want to stamp over that. So I've got some lovely Lavinia low tack tape, and I'm just going to pop that over there, because me being me, I'll stamp over that. It might be you're worried about getting some ink, so you can always add a bit more. I think we'll be okay there, let's see. If not, well, I'll cry. Now, the inks I'm going to use today, I've gone for oxides. And I'm going to use Prize Ribbon, Mermaid Lagoon and Stormy Sky. So because it's Blue Hues, now again, it might be, say we had one with vintage tones, you could do this exact same technique, but choose 3 brown vintage tones. It might be we have a bright, and you want to choose 3 bright colours. Again, it's just the technique we're going for, just to sort of give you some inspiration. Now, I'm going to come in with my lighter colour first, and when I'm blending, that's just the way I work. And I'm just going to blend some nice light blue at the top. Then I like to come in with my darker colour and blend the bottom. And I did exactly the same on my topper. So when I was creating this, and just to show you the same design, the same technique, just change it up a bit, but you're doing the same. light, dark, same 3 colours, and then the middle. And I've got to be honest, if Mr. Mojo has gone, cut yourself your card and maybe make a few toppers. And what you'll find is once you start creating, right, middle colour next, once you start creating, well, certainly for me, my mind just wanders and I just want to create more and I go off on a tangent and that just brings Mr. Mojo back. Now, I know you're going to look at that and say, Jill, bit of a dog's dinner. But it's fine because what we do now is we work at this bottom bit. So I'm going to bring the darker colour in again and then just move up into that mid-tone. Go back with the mid-tone and work over that join. And already you'll see how much better does that look. Now it might be if you want a little light area, a spot you could leave that. So what we'll do here is we'll just come in and blend, but at the sides, because I'm quite liking that area. And then whenever I blend any colours, I actually use the lighter colour and blend over the whole thing with the lighter colour. And I find that blends it all beautifully. And that was just a happy accident. I'm going to leave that. Normally I would blend the whole thing, but I quite like that light area. I almost think it looks a bit ethereal. So we'll pop the lids on those. And then we shall add some stamping. Now I just like to have some copy paper underneath. For me, it just helps me with my stamping. And I'm going to come in with VersaFine Clair, fabulous ink for stamping. And Nocturne is the black, and that's the colour I'm going to use to start off with. And our first stamp is this lovely Slender Mushrooms. And if you're not sure, if you're one of our new followers, if you're not sure where to stamp it, use the acetate. You've got the design printed on there. And look, it will give you an idea. I mean, again, if this was a sympathy card, you might just want it just once there. Clean and simple, left at that. It gives you choices. Again, you could go in the middle. So, stamp on a block. And again, I'm just going to ink it up and I'm not putting a little tip. Don't rest your block because if you've got ink on there, you'll put it on your white space of that card. And we want to keep that white space. So nice light tapping. And then what we'll do is we'll stamp, and I think we'll just stamp this once here. And again, don't lift it off straight away. Let the ink soak in because we've blended quite a lot of the oxide ink there. And we want this ink just to soak in beautifully on top. And if you notice, I never take both hands off. And then lift straight up. And we've got that beautiful image. Now, what I do want to do is just add some grass in the background. And this is the orchard grass. But I'm thinking the blue tones. And if I do black, it'll almost, this I want to be my focal point. So I'm going to come in with Bally Blue. We have some fabulous colours of the VersaFine Clair inks. Do have a look at them. I know quite a few of you've messaged and said you were very lucky and got some for Christmas. So now's a perfect time to get them out and experiment. Start using them. So I'm just going to come in with some first and second generation. So first generation there, and we'll get a deeper colour look. And then a little bit of second generation. If I bring that a bit closer, I don't want this too bright. I want to have that interest more in the background. And then what I'm going to do on top of that, I'm just, because it looks a little bit open there, I'm going to come in with the black. And this is something I often like to do, is stamp in coloured ink. And then a little bit of stamping in black in front. And I just think that helps with the depth and perspective. You know, we've only got a small area, but we can actually add quite a lot of interest into that area. And now I'm going to add a butterfly. This is from the butterfly set. If I just take them off, look, so you can see the acetate, 4 beautiful silhouette butterflies. And these are so useful. Again, too large or too smaller. So if you're thinking you want to give that distance, stamp your larger one closer, your smaller one further away. And it all helps making our card look like we've got perspective. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to stamp this one once. And I think I'm just going to pop this here. And it just with that lighter area there. So what I will do is just give that a bit of a blot, because VersaFine Clair is a slower drying ink and I don't want to smudge it. Look, there's just a little bit on there. And now really just a couple of little finishing details. With my white pen, I'm just going to come in and add just a couple of highlights. I don't want to overdo it. Just it sort of brightens up a little bit, just as though the light's just catching. Like I say, I'm not going to overthink it. And then I've got one of my Zig pens, and this is one of the clean colour. And just so you know, this is number 51, Lemon Yellow. Lots of colours would work well, and I just want to fill in the base of our lovely mushrooms look. And for me, it's these little details. And the pens work beautifully over the oxide inks. And I just think that brightens that up. Now, before I lift the sticker stencil off, I'm going to do my faux bleaching. Now, for our lovely new followers again, years ago we used to use bleach to just create white dots in the background. And obviously it's not very good for the environment. So somebody, and I don't know who, I'm sorry, this is like years ago in crafting, realised that if you just got water on your fan brush and tapped it, and this works so well with oxide inks, it works lovely with your elements inks, just your dye-based inks, as long as they're based with water. The water almost faux bleaches, which is it's like a false bleaching, so it gives the effect of bleaching without using bleach. And if I bring that up, can you see how the water starts to react to give these lovely dots? Now, what you'll notice with your dye-based inks, your dots will show up more on the darker coloured ink. So if you really want them to be as bright as possible and take away as much colour as possible, they will show up better on your darker coloured inks. But for me, I think the effect is beautiful even on the lighter areas. It just mottles that background. Now, I do this at the end just because for me, this stamping's permanent ink, so the water won't affect the permanent ink. And I do that once I've finished with all my other stamping, I've added my colour, because once you add water, even the best quality card will slightly change. Now, you can leave this to dry naturally, and that's what I would suggest. You could use a heat tool, but I don't like introducing a heat tool around my sticker stencils, but that's just me. So I just use a piece of kitchen towel, just dot it, there we go, a little dab. And I'm going to take off, and I'm only going to take this off, look at that. The low tack tape is fabulous, doesn't rip your card. We shall move this out of the way. And then with these, just gently, and I find often if I bend the card, look, if you can't, I mean this I can lift up from the corner here, but again, if it's flat all the way around, for me, I find just move your card slightly, look, bend your card, and the corner will pop up, and that will. So before we look at our finished piece, how to clean them, I've got a damp cloth here. Your permanent ink comes off, damp cloth, look. And then I just have a dry cloth, Mr. Inky Binky, any cleaning cloth that you used to use him. And then that will go straight back on here and back in its packet, and that I can reuse again and again. So this is the design we have, and I'm thinking let's add a sentiment. So the sentiments are off the Heartfelt Verses, and on here again, very, very useful set. So this is the one I got, the With Love and Sympathy, but also we have Birthday Wishes, Just For You and With Love. Now I do like the Just For You. If I want to make emergency cards, you know, the ones you're going to need, that Just For You, as I used on here, I think is so useful, because I could use this if I needed. I could add birthday wishes here if I needed a quick birthday card, if I needed a get well card, a thinking of you card. So for me, I love that. But as it happens, I do need a birthday card. So I hope you don't mind. I'm going to put birthday wishes on this one. What I'm thinking is January, and if Mr. Mojo's gone, why don't you have a look in your birthday book? 'Cause I'm sure you've got one, along with your address book, and see what birthday cards you're going to need for the first couple of months, and make yourself some birthday cards. I mean, that would give you a good challenge, wouldn't it? Now, I've put birthday wishes there. I didn't want it right. I wanted to bring a bit of the space here. And what I'm actually thinking is, would a butterfly look nice? So again, with the acetate, what about, oh yes, you see, I think that, for me, there's something missing here. Little butterfly there. So, we've got this one. It's the same as that. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to get the smaller one. And I think that'll just finish that off. So let's see. I do this, you know, I talk to myself while I'm crafting. Even if I'm not joining you, I still do it. Yeah. So for me, I love that. So white pen, and just add a couple of highlights. Now, the next bit, I'm just going to finish it off with a couple more little Posca splats. If you like your white space white, leave it like this. But I'm just going to come in with this lovely blue, and this is a sky blue. Acrylic paint, so it will dry permanent. Give it a good shake. And then I just want to add some little splats around the butterfly. And then in this top corner, just to take away the white in some of the area. I'm not going to overcook it, but I just think that little bit for me, and I'll bring it closer because you probably won't be able to see, but can you see just these few little, it just leads the eye right across the whole design. Now, you could enter this into the Blue Hues challenge. Honestly, it's a great source of inspiration. And remember, post your cards in our groups. Because do you know what? If you go in Lavinia for You, or I reach out with Lavinia, it gives you inspiration, but also comment on each other's cards. Because when somebody comments, it makes your day. And you, just by commenting, could make somebody's day. Now, wouldn't that be a lovely way to start the year if we could all make each other happy? So, I'm off now for a cheeky brew and a biscuit. Because do you know what? It's January. And I've still got biscuits to eat up from Christmas. So you take care. I'll see you again tomorrow. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.